At the beginning of the movie, we see Harry waking up in bed and staring at an old photo. He gets up and uses his asthma inhaler. He is alone in the house and eats jam and bread. After eating, he calmly washes the dishes. A loud scream of a woman then can be heard. Harry checks it out from his window but soon ignores it as this is an everyday thing in the neighborhood. Soon, he gets ready and leaves, and he walks alone on the street. He notices a tunnel with a lot of music, but he checks his watch and leaves. Harry enters a hospital to see his loving wife. He caresses her, but she is in a poor condition and doesn't reply to his actions. He then can be seen in a bar just before Len arrives. They both begin a chess game. Len asks how's Kath, and Harry confesses she is getting worse, and that she might not even know he visits her, but Len believes she does. Just then, a couple of junkies selling each other the white stuff. Len is not happy with this, and complains to Harry saying that it's getting worse. But Harry is not interested in this. At night, Harry hears a loud pounding. He goes to the window to check where he sees a group of goons breaking a car. The owner comes out to defend his property, but the goons beat him up badly. Len reluctantly goes back to sleep. At midnight, he gets a call. His facial expressions change from sleepy to shocked. He runs out in the rain and travels all the way to the hospital. To his shock, he sees his wife is gone and starts to sob right then and there. Soon we see Harry putting down flowers for his love. His friend Len arrives and takes Harry to the same bar. They both can be seen playing chess. Harry shares a story from his Marine Corps days. He says one of his blocks named Bob helped him meet his wife. He shares how he and his wife spend an entire night dancing together. Len says Harry never talked about his Marine days, and he asks if Harry killed anyone. But Harry doesn't answer and just says, "You can't ask me that." Len apologizes, and Harry admits he left the Marine soldier long ago when he met his wife. While in the men's room, Len confesses he is scared. People where they live are savages. Len says they spat on his face and stuck dog poop in his mailbox. He pulls out a knife, saying he is done getting pushed over. Harry stops him and says he can't do this. Len feels upset because he thought Harry would understand. He leaves the men's room upset. At night, we see someone has put a burning thing in Len's house, causing a lot of smoke. When he sees this, he gets up and rushes over to the main door. He quickly puts out the fire and coughs, then yells and curses at the people who did this. The next day, we see two police officers visiting Harry's house. The officers enter the house and seem serious, asking Harry if they can sit and talk. After settling down, Harry learns that Len was involved in a very serious incident last night. The officer sadly and gently shares the news by saying Len is dead. Harry wonders how this could happen, and learns that Len was assaulted and found on a random street. Harry mentions he and Len met yesterday and played chess. He says Len complained about some kids but didn't say any names. The officer leaves Harry after their conversation. Harry, as they leave, starts to cry over his friend's demise. The officer is named Alice, who transferred herself here. Her partner asks why she chose this, but she doesn't answer. Later, we see Alice and her partner visiting a guy's house. His name is Noel, and they have a warrant to search his home. Noel, who clearly seems like a junkie, directly calls Alice the B word. The officers directly arrest him, saying he is being arrested on suspicion of murder. His mom, however, starts crying and screaming, so Noel asks if he can talk to his mom to calm her down. After Alice allows this, the guy tells his mom to call his uncle to defend him. Alice and her partner have arrested 4 goons who they think committed this murder. When they are confronted by the cops, they refuse to talk or even recognize Len. One of them is named Mark, who looks scared. But when called out by Alice, he lies and says he is not scared. Dean, who is completely high, also refuses to talk. Carl doesn't care what the cops think and asks them where were the cops when his brother died. Alice, even after this, gets under his skin by asking if that is why he murdered Len. Was he just trying to protect himself from Len, or was Len trying to attack them? Carl gets uneasy and says no comment. Noel also doesn't cooperate and says if they don't have a piece of evidence, just let him walk away. The weakest of them, Mark, is scared, and has been in foster care since his childhood, where he complained about abuse. Mark says that was a lie, and he lied for his own good. Meanwhile, Noel, the most disrespectful of them all, is talking about hormone things to Alice. He shares how he would treat her, and that she will enjoy it. However, Alice doesn't get angry, and instead says he is losing all the control in the interrogation room. Even after this, Noel doesn't take her seriously and makes fun of Len's photos. Later, we see Harry in a graveyard with Len. The scene cuts to the bar where a woman is singing and Harry is drinking alone. The bartender asks Harry if it is enough, because he has been here for a long time. Harry decides to pay and removes his wallet, and a junkie notices how much money he has. Harry then leaves the bar and walks. Under a bridge, a junkie confronts Harry and tries to mug him. He threatens Harry, but just when the junkie jumps on him, Harry pulls out his knife, stabbing the man. Harry then leaves and heads home. He removes all of his bloodied clothes and takes a shower. He goes to sleep as he looks beside him. He clearly can be seen missing his wife. The next day, Alice comes to visit him, and Harry invites her in. Alice sees a picture and realizes he was in the Marines. She also notices a chess game, and Harry begins to explain he is studying to play chess and seems very happy talking about this. Soon, he realizes he is getting off track. Alice finally says she is here because they found the murder weapon. She says that the weapon was military grade and that it belonged to Len, as his fingerprints were all over it. Harry quickly lets her know he knew Len had the weapon, which was passed on to him by his father. Alice says there's a problem because the court will see this as self-defense and that the kids who did this will not be charged with murder. Harry is very upset and asks Alice to leave, but Alice assures him she will let him know what the updates are. Harry removes an old box of memories. Inside we can see a knitted sheet of "I love you," most probably from his wife. He also finds an old knife. Harry leaves and goes to Len's house, which is completely burned. The walls are ruined and the window is broken. Harry enters the house and finds an old photo of Len and his wife. He notices the same old tunnel from Len's house window, and sees all the junkie people around the tunnel selling each other the white stuff. Soon, a couple get near the tunnel. The men abuse the woman and beat up her boyfriend when he tries to defend her. After the attack, the couple runs away. Later that night, Harry follows a junkie and knocks on his door, claiming that he wants to do business. Harry enters their house, but just then one of them named Stretch points a gun at his face, but the other junkie calms him down. Harry says he wants a gun and Stretch asks his reason. He lies and says he wants to shoot pigeons from his roof. Stretch leaves the room and Harry follows him. In another room we can see a farm. Harry walks through the room and enters another room where Stretch looks at the TV. The TV is playing a video of him clapping a stoned-out girl. The girl is moaning very badly. Harry gets uneasy seeing this video and notices a girl on the couch who is completely unconscious. Stretch offers Harry the chance to do anything with her for some money. As they wait in silence, the other man comes in with a bag of guns. One by one he takes out a gun and explains each of them. Harry still is worried about the girl and says maybe they should take her to the hospital, or at least call an ambulance for her. But Stretch refuses and points a gun at Harry. He says to pick up a gun and get out before he hurts him. The girl begins to cough. Harry distracts one of them by complimenting the girl's chest. Using the distraction, he stabs the man in the arm and pulls his gun. But Stretch points his gun at Harry. He pulls the trigger, but his gun is empty, so Harry shoots the other guy and fires multiple shots at Stretch, running out. Harry follows him to see he has fallen down, and mocks him, saying he didn't maintain his weapon. Harry shares a story of a soldier who died just like that, before shooting Stretch dead. He picks up the girl and puts her in the car. Harry, before leaving, gathers all the weapons he could find and sets the place on fire. He then brings the girl to the hospital, leaves her some cash, and blares the horns as he drives away. Alice in her office is told that her investigation is going slowly. Her boss tells her from now on any activity and crime related to guns won't be tolerated. Harry goes to a church and gives all of his money there. Alice visits the girl and wonders why someone would kill two dealers and then save a girl. At night, Harry is again keeping his eye on the tunnel from the broken window. He notices a man meeting Neil and asking him for money. He threatens Neil and then calls Mark to get in the car. Later, we see Mark giving the man a head. Just when he finishes, the man gets shot in the head by Harry. Mark gets scared and soon ends up in Len's house with Harry. Mark is tied up as Harry asks him about Len, but Mark doesn't know about Len and doesn't cooperate. Harry whips Mark and tortures him. Harry threatens Mark by pulling out a gun and saying he will blow off both his kneecaps. Mark finally starts talking and says there was an old man who came and threatened him and his friends. He says his friends slapped Len. Harry doesn't believe this, but Mark says he recorded everything on his phone. Harry takes out the phone and watches the video of his best friend being killed ruthlessly by the goons. Harry asks who was the stabber. The scene cuts to Neil flirting with a girl and making out with her. There are more people there who are making out under the tunnel. Noel then notices Carl limping towards them, crying and saying that the man has a gun. The goons take out their guns and walk slowly toward Mark, but one of them gets scared and opens fire randomly, hitting Mark. Harry from the other side finishes off Mark and the other guy. Noel escapes as Harry pursues him. But Harry's asthma kicks in, knocking him down. Before he passes out, Harry throws his gun in the river. He awakens in the hospital where Alice and her partner are present. They ask him if he saw anything unusual near the tunnel, but a nurse tells them they must leave. Later, Alice and her partner visit the place where Harry was found. Alice now believes Harry was behind all of this. She visits her superior and asks for permission to follow her lead. She wants to investigate Harry for all of these incidents. Alice says she believes it's Harry, even though her superior doesn't believe her. Later, he says he is promoting her and that she should take the weekend off. At night, we see all the police officers raiding the building and catching all of the junkies. They fight back and arrest a lot of them. Some of them try to jump but get caught. Harry wakes up and removes his saline. We can see riots on the roads as Harry leaves the hospital. Alice tells her partner Harry has left the hospital and that he might go and try to finish off Neil. Her partner says even if he is, that's good because Neil is a big pain. But later he decides to go anyway. As they are driving, one of the riot members throws paint on their window. The car hits another car. Alice's partner is very badly injured. Just then, Harry comes and rescues Alice and her partner. Harry takes both of them to the bar. Sid the bartender goes to call the ambulance. Alice, crying, asks Harry where will this end. She also tells him that Noel's uncle is Sid, and that if he kills Noel, Sid will kill him. After learning this, Harry goes to the basement and points the gun at Sid. He confronts him for everything. Sid calls out Noel and tries to defend him. To prove what Noel did, Harry shows him the video which Mark recorded. Even then, Sid says Harry can't kill him. Harry struggles to breathe and gets weak. Sid sees this as an opportunity and takes away the gun from Harry and shoots him. While upstairs, Alice calls for help, but she gets thrown down by Noel. He beats her up, calling her by the B word. He passes sexual comments on her. Sid is upset over Noel for not being safe. He tells Neil to finish all of them and dump them on the street. To show Noel, Sid kills Alice's partner. Noel begins to choke Alice. He tells her to look him in the eyes. Just before Alice is losing her life, Harry takes out his hidden pistol and shoots Noel in the neck. In a moment, Sid shoots Harry in the shoulder. Alice is gasping for air when Sid goes near Harry to point his gun. But two lasers point to his chest from the backup Alice had called earlier. Just before he could finish Harry, he gets shot in the chest. Later, we see Alice sitting in a conference where her superior says there was no vigilante because there is no evidence. This shows that Harry will not be pursued by cops for his activity. We also see Harry walking and looking over to the tunnel, which now seems quiet and peaceful, with a bright white color. He walks towards the tunnels. This shows his efforts finally made that place a bit more peaceful than before. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you can watch more movies like this.